I took one day off and it feels like it's been forever since we last talked about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. So you guessed it, that is what we're gonna do today. Let's get right into the charts. Now first, I wanna look at my green MicroStrategy chart where I try to make a safe channel that contains all of the price action within reason. So we've connected the 2021 top to the 2024 top. We've connected the bottoms. We have a nice solid channel. We're looking at the daily time frame. So what I wanted to do is kind of revisualize this chart. I'm going to show you what I see when I look. I see a bull flag that formed back here in 2024 March, okay? And we kind of chopped around. We entered the flag in March and we exited it in October. So we had a good 6 months of chopping around in that bull flag right before we ripped from the top of the bull flag to the top of the, euphoric move. We ripped 220% in 35 days. So a massive move that took just about 1 month time. And now it looks like we've got a similar kind of structure developing where we are just chopping around before the next big breakout move. Now, you can kind of draw this bull flag a few different ways. It's tough to feel like you really got it for sure because it can be, drawn different ways. But anyways, look at how I drew it there. I feel like that seems to contain most of the price action. I feel like we broke out on April 25th when MicroStrategy went from 353 up to 373 and then closed the day at 368. And that would be really bullish even if we have a little bit of a pullback outside of the bull flag. By the way, I mean, if we draw the Fibonacci retracement here, okay, connect the top to the bottom, you'll notice that we're kind of just chopping between the 0.5 fib and the 382 fib, which to me is not necessarily unhealthy. I don't think you usually just leave all these levels in the dust and rip out of them like a rocket ship, unless you're like Tesla in 2021, which I did do that comparison and I did a whole video on that. I'll link to it in the YouTube cards right here and below. But even in that massive move that Tesla had between, it was like 2020 to 2021, they had some pullbacks as you would expect, right? They had some consolidation. So to me, this is still a really bullish move in the making. And we have just pulled back a little bit. Now let's jump over to my red chart on MicroStrategy. I did mention in the hook for this video, I'm going to give you the all-in levels, okay? I've kind of talked about them before, so if you've seen that video, it's going to look familiar. Nothing's really changed for me. Here on the red chart, let me just draw this potential bull flag, but make it bigger, okay? I'm going to show you just how big this bull flag could be theoretically if you want to say that we haven't broken out, right? I'm just trying to visualize it in a different way, okay? And I think that this theoretically stands up as well, something like this. Maybe drag up the bottom a little bit there. And in this case, we haven't broken out of the bull flag. Either way, it's a bull flag and we will hopefully break out to the upside, right? That's why they call it a bull flag. You can chop around and then eventually you're off to the races. So now let's go back to the MicroStrategy log chart. This is where I get my all-in level from, where I would feel comfortable being truly all in on MicroStrategy. I'm going back here to the 2021 top. I'm going to connect it to the lower high that it put in later in 2021 in November. I'm going to duplicate this line. I'm going to drag it over to our recent 2024 top, okay, from November. Okay, and I'm just going to apply that line. You'll notice, and I'm trying to line it up real perfect for you guys. This is a weekly chart, by the way, so these are significant bars. You'll notice we haven't closed above that line. But if we go back here and extend this out to the right, okay, you'll notice that, well, actually, we did break through and then we back tested. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing when that happens. It's just meant to shake the weak hands out. You've heard me talk about that before. But once you really break through that, it's like off to the races, okay? Like you're ripping, and this is log, by the way, so it might not look like a big move, but if we measure bottom to top, it's a 1,578% gain. So again, this doesn't look like much, but they're weekly bars and it is on the log scale. We literally went from pre-split, I mean, it was 30, let's just call it what it is here on this chart, $32 a share MicroStrategy up to 542. So it is significant when you break out of these levels. And if we do have a back test, you've got to weather the storm. I mean, because you're going to be so mad if you miss this. This move is massive, okay? Now, I don't know when we're going to break this level, right? But it's a declining line. So what it takes to start the next move up, it goes down with time. Like the share price is going down with time. Like next week, we would need to close above like $413. That's not even, you know what I mean? Like we were just there a couple weeks ago. The week after that, it's like $408 or so. The week after that, $406 or so, okay? Those are my all-in levels for MicroStrategy. Now, let me pull up Bitcoin's chart. We're keeping it on the log scale, and I'm going to show you the same exact level, except it's a little bit different in how I've got my Bitcoin levels, okay? I love the log chart for Bitcoin. Look at the levels. They're pretty clearly defined. I mean, I should probably make these like 2 pixels wide so that they're even easier to spot here. So each white line is my level on the log chart for Bitcoin, okay? So I'm going from 1 to 2 pixels. Someone recommended that in a previous video, and I totally get that, why that would make for better videos. So boom, that's a level, that's a level, that's a level, this is a level, and this is the current level that we're on. This is the longest time we've spent on any Bitcoin level, going on over 4 years, I think 4.5 years at this point. And actually, it was the 2017 blow off top where we initially entered this level. Back then, it was only at 11,500. Okay. Then we tried to break through again in 2019, got rejected at 13, or let's call it 14,000. We broke through in November of 2020. We back tested, and then, of course, we ripped. Okay. So we've tried to get through this level 5 times, and I'm guessing we get through this next time. All right. We fell a little bit short recently when we got up to $112,400 Bitcoin. The level was actually hovering above at about 14,500. Okay. This level does go up with time. So these are weekly bars. Next week, we would need to close above 115,300 to consider it, a breakthrough to that next level. And I don't think you'll need to consult these charts. You'll know the move will be significant, is my prediction. If you are wanting to do some crazy investing and leveraged long using derivatives, whatever crazy stuff you want to do, to me, it's a no-brainer. Just wait. Stop trying to front run it, because it could BS. Like, the more people try to front run it, the more chop we probably get like this, right? Until everybody gives up. Like, stop me if you've seen that before. I'm not trying to laugh about it, but they don't make it easy on us, right? You don't want to become the next James Wynn. I messaged that dude. I was like, come do a video with me. No response, but I'm feeling for him, man. That dude lost like 100 mil in the last week. Crazy. Anyways, I wanted to also kind of pivot over to a couple tweets that I really liked. I'm going to link to all these in the description, so make sure you go support these people for their work. I'm not taking credit for their work. I just wanted to share. So Colin Talks Crypto on Twitter, on X, posted this today. It is the global M2 versus Bitcoin update. He finds the 87-day offset currently is providing the best average correlation. Okay, so as you can see here, according to this and where we are right here, that orange dot, we should be up and to the right very soon. Okay, the thing is, like, it can lag. The main thing that I love about this chart is that it's telling us where we're headed, not when we're headed. Although the correlation, like, this is the best average correlation, which is still not perfect. Okay, you can see here, average correlation, 84.6%, which is pretty darn good. Just saying, pretty darn good. But it means that we could lag. All right, we could also front run it. It works both ways. But I feel extremely comfortable being long Bitcoin adjacent equities, being long Bitcoin, all the above. You know what I mean? I'm not doing any leverage or anything like that. I mean, I don't know that I ever will, but if I ever did, it's going to be above these levels. Okay. I'm not going to lie, actually, after seeing the James Wynn guy talking about his like hyper liquid platform for using leverage, I was telling my wife, I was like, maybe we'll put like $1,000 in, or no, what I was thinking was we do $2,000. All right. And what we do is the first 1,000, we go like leveraged long when we close above the level, right? But in case we do a up and back test and we get liquidated, then we deploy the second 1,000 and then we go. You know what I mean? So that was my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are planning on doing in the future. So we have Colin Talks Crypto's chart versus the M2. We have Mr. Crypto showing Bitcoin broke out of the bullish megaphone pattern. I love seeing that chart. It's kind of similar to the bull flag chart that I had kind of drawn and redrawn on the MicroStrategy chart earlier. You could draw it kind of different ways, but the first way I drew it, it looked like we did break out and then we back tested, and you know what comes after that, right? Crypto Seth right here, again, another Bitcoin versus M2, seeing similar things. It looks like he sees a little bit more of a pullback, which is kind of coming to fruition in real time from when he tweeted this to when I'm recording this video. As you can see here at the bottom of my trusty little video overlay, Bitcoin is at about $104,000. I could make that update in real time, by the way. The issue is that you guys want to see this? It shows too many zeros. So I put this additional overlay to kind of hide all those ugly zeros. But it is annoying because every now and then, depending on what the price is, I have to move the overlay around. Anyways, I know nobody cares. I'm going to link to all these tweets in the description. Here's OG Brett on Twitter. He says 1 year, 90% correlation, global M2 versus MicroStrategy. Okay, so before we were looking at M2 versus Bitcoin. This is M2 versus MicroStrategy. And it's looking like it is about time that MicroStrategy starts to rebound. Now, you guys know Flash, friend of the channel. He does great work on Twitter and on YouTube. He was talking about, he briefly mentioned on probably Twitter or maybe YouTube, that MicroStrategy may be leading Bitcoin. And when he said that, I literally was thinking the same thing. No joke, I swear. And in that case, it's like MicroStrategy might have completed its pullback first. Now you see Bitcoin is following, and all eyes on MicroStrategy to lead the way after this. One last thing I wanted to show you guys. Well, two last things. Somebody tweeted on Polymarket. Apparently, you can bet on Polymarket if MicroStrategy is going to buy more Bitcoin each week. And this dude, Podgies, has literally just been hammering that bet week after week after week after week after week, just voting yes, 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 yes. And I mean, the better odds are on no, but he's just hammering yes, and the dude is up 184,000. I thought that was hilarious. One last tweet I wanted to share. Mr. Crypto, you saw this in my previous video, but gold broke out of this wedge pattern and absolutely ripped, and Bitcoin is looking extremely similar. Okay, it doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but how epic would it be if it had a similar move? Like, I'm seeing it on the charts. I'm showing you guys. It feels logical. Like, if it's gonna break the wedge, you see it here on the log chart. You see it in all of these previous levels dating back to the inception of Bitcoin. We broke through the first level in January of 2013. We broke through to the second level in November of 2013. The next level, 2017, the next level, 2020, okay? And we are just waiting to go to the next level. And every time we do, it's a massive move. So when I see something like this and gold leading the way, I'm just praying that we see something similar. You know what I mean? And I gave you the levels now for all of the degenerate activity if you feel compelled. Guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any ideas for future videos, and I'll see you at the next one.